Don't forget to mention Batman's lack of pants.
You got it. I'm Batman. Thanks for Writing presents The Station.
Yeah, what is it? We talked about queues.
We've done queues.
Talked about parking lots.
Inexplicably, we have. Yes. We did do a parking lot episode.
I think it's worth exploring the station.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you've gone from the parking lot, you got into the queue for the ride, and now you've walked yourself into the station.
Yeah, because there is actually a bunch going on in there. And there are different styles and different things you might find. And so I guess really what we're talking about is anything that's not a flat ride, basically. Like, flat rides don't really have stations.
Well, it's like
the whole thing is a station.
The ride is, its own station.
Yeah.
You just board the actual ride. It's just all open around it usually. Or even if it isn't closed, but it's still the same thing, just inside. So, no station.
So basically,
not really
everything else. Or anything that's not a walkthrough, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, walkthroughs, no.
Coasters, dark rides, antique cars, all that stuff. Transportation, they all have stations. So I think the first thing that comes to my mind is there are stations that are, I'm going very basic here, there are stations that are covered and stations that are uncovered.
Whoa. Yeah.
I think most are covered.
Yeah, covered is normally what you see out there.
But I bring it up because I think uncovered ones are, uncovered ones definitely for coasters are unusual, at least in this country.
That's really odd, yeah. I know out in California we've seen that a bit because I guess they have a lot less rain for a lot of the year. So I think it was California's Great America, I think, that had a number of stations that were out in the open.
I think Flight Deck, right?
I believe Flight Deck might, yeah, which is very odd for an inverted coaster to be open like that. But I think the stand-up was also the one is that now Patriot? Is that one?
Yeah. I think
it was right. Vortex, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At the time, we were there. But I think in the other Great America Park, too, Whizzer, I believe, is open.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
So maybe that was just a Marriott thing.
Okay.
Like the Marriott's Great America plan, just they didn't care for covered stations. But then over the years, at least in the case of the California one, they kind of kept that going. Even when they got later on, they got B&M coasters, and they never bothered to pay for a roof on the station. But if they say that it never rains in California, just fire, just brush fires everywhere.
Yeah.
So they're okay, I guess. But I think it's just, it's rain, right? Or weather in general would be the number one reason to cover these things.
Yeah. The first one that really comes to my mind is Steel Eel at SeaWorld San Antonio. I remember that was open.
It's funny. It always sticks out.
Yeah.
When it is, because it's the exception to the rule, kind of. I mean, there's a lot, actually, if you really thought about it and listed it on paper. But it's still a small percentage of the total.
Yeah,
all coasters out there.
Demons at the Great Americas.
The Demons. Yeah, I really think it's a Great America thing, oddly enough.
Disneyland, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad? Pretty
is
sure
it the actual train is out? It's out in the open? I think maybe there's like a covering over the center part.
There, yeah, where you actually wait for the train. Yeah.
Right, and then you kind of, the train itself is exposed.
I believe so, yeah.
So California, there we go. Although, I don't know, does Magic Mountain have any open?
Yeah, I think they're all covered.
Yeah. So Six Flags just won't have that.
Right.
They'll put covers on it no matter what.
Yeah.
But even Disney when it came to California, it's like because they don't have a ton of rain. I guess it's just it's okay.
Yeah. But California Screamin' or whatever, Incredicoaster, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
That's covered though. So I guess maybe the next layer of this is stations that are completely enclosed or ones that just have the roof
you go from no roof, which is less common, to like the most common is open air but with a roof. That's the classic regional park station.
Yeah, right.
For almost anything. I mean, at that point, not even coasters, but even your antique cars and your trains and whatnot generally have that. There's a cover over you. There's a lot of times there's at least 3, sometimes 4 walls, but open air, no actual windows. Just I don't know. I mean, it works, right? It's classic. I mean, the parks are generally only open when the weather is good enough to exist outside in. Although maybe not. Maybe these days with pushing it with these Christmas events and whatnot, some of the parks are pushing the seasons more than ever. But generally, it's comfortable enough outside, so yeah, have it open air. Well, and then as far as like, a completely enclosed station, you don't see that very often either, just as much as you don't see open, totally open to the sky stations. I guess that's really reserved for the most heavily themed attractions. It really is more of a theming device.
Right. Well, is this really for enclosed rides? How often do we see this where the ride actually goes outside?
Okay, let's think about this. Well, all right. If we're gonna get off coasters a little bit right away now, the one that sticks out in my mind because it's really bizarre, I think, is WD Rides Ripsaw Falls, because you board completely enclosed for a log flume, and that always seemed strange to me.
Yeah.
Not only that, but probably the upper third or so of the queue is all enclosed. So you enter into the structure, like into AC. I mean, it's like cools down for you.
Yeah.
And it's not even just the station itself. Like I said, it's the whole last, I don't know, could be up to 20, 25 minutes of the wait that you're in there. So like they just totally cool you off and get you comfortable to get on a really soaking water ride.
Yeah.
And I just always thought that was kind of an odd choice.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't know if I could think of any other completely enclosed, air-conditioned, like water ride stations, because that's the most bizarre of all.
Water
like
ride.
doing a coaster like that, I think actually doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay.
But a water ride where your intention is to get wet and cool off, I just feel it's weird to actually bring your temperature down right before you get on the ride.
Right, because Splash Mountain doesn't do that.
No, Splash Mountain is actually even a little open to the sky in a way.
Oh, it is,
It's
yeah.
kind of, there's a lot of fake rock work around you, but you're technically open. Yeah, I always thought that was really weird about WD Ride.
It's like all the other water rides. I'm trying to think now.
I just don't know why they do that. I just...
Yeah.
So I kind of don't agree with it. I don't know why they did that. And then you exit outside. They don't bring it back into the AC. I guess that'd be the ultimate insult.
Oh, yeah, right.
They put you back into air conditioning while you're soaked.
Yeah.
At least they don't do that. But like, you do board in that environment. It's kind of weird.
But just to mention some other rides where you start completely enclosed, but you go outside. Test Track is like that.
Right,
Kong,
okay.
I guess, is like that. There's that little outdoor portion if you do it.
Right, yeah.
They could bypass it depending on what they want to do, how they feel.
Sure, depending on the day. The mood of the driver.
Yeah, right.
These guys are temperamental.
Yeah.
They're a little stiff sometimes, too. The recently closed Volcano was not airtight, per se. I think there was a little area where maybe you could see outside.
That's pretty enclosed, though.
Towards the one end of the station, the end that you'd be moving into.
I'll count it.
All
I'll
right,
allow it.
That's pretty close. You allow it? Okay. That's pretty close, though. That was. Oh, you know that Dragon Mountain? That really bizarre arrow in Marine Land?
That is one.
That's like you're in a total cave. Can't see anything, and then it's just this bare bones ride outside that was never finished.
Yeah. Oh, what a strange experience.
But like that cave station is really cool.
Yeah.
And totally inside.
Wow, I can't
So
believe you pulled that one.
that's a weird one.
Good pull.
But that's, yeah.
But the rest of the enclosed stations, I think the ride is enclosed. The whole ride is. Like, I'm thinking Flight of Fear or Dark Knight or stuff like that.
Like Space Mountain.
Space Mountain, right.
Both of those. Sure.
Spider-Man, Transformers, all, any dark ride, adventure.
Although Thunder Mountain, Florida.
Oh,
If you're going to count Volcano, that's,
that definitely counts.
That's enclosed. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just slightly not, but it's not enough to even notice it most of the time. Mm-hmm. I guess you could add Matterhorn to the no roof.
Oh, right.
That's another just totally out in the open. One of the two coasters that I personally operated at Adventureland on Long Island. That Hurricane, that was open. There was no roof over it.
Okay, yeah.
We were out in the elements. Although the new ride now, Turbulence, does have a roof. Just the classic open air style with the roof. I'm thinking maybe Dollywood's antique cars, those 50s cars. Don't you actually drive into the dealership?
That's fully enclosed.
That's fully enclosed, like were you bored?
That's unusual for like an antique or 50s cars.
So there you go, that's one.
I feel like most of those stations are outside.
Yeah, like even the 50s ones. I mean, the 50s are the lesser style. You see that less. Usually you see just like the Model T Fords.
All right, so then how do you feel about switchbacks in the station? Because I know I kind of hate that. But I understand, if a park is tight on space and that's how it had to be, then that's how it had to be. But that's pretty frustrating when you wait in the whole queue and then you finally get to the station and there's just like more switchbacks.
So, all right, you're talking about like, all right, where the queue interacts with the station, or like where the queue proper ends and then the station begins.
I suppose.
Kind of.
So maybe I shouldn't even have brought it up then, because is that really even part of the station?
It's where they combine. It's mashing them up. You're putting the last part of your queue in the actual station, and that had to have come up on the queue show, right?
I'm pretty sure it had to.
Must
have, yeah.
have. And yeah, no, I don't like that either. That's nasty. You gotta preserve the sanctity of the station. You can't be having the part of the switchbacks of the queue in there. Yeah, I don't like that.
Right. So it's like Space Mountain, Orlando, Superman, Ride of Steel, or whatever it's called.
Odd that
the ride now at Six Flags New England is like that.
Oh, which one?
Superman at New England has that.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking Space Mountain. It's so odd that that's an offender because it's Disney and you think they do something better.
No, just put a giant switchback pad in there right before you board.
Oh, that is bad. You gotta watch the people boarding, but you're so far away. It's like so close but so far.
Yeah,
it's kind of nasty. I don't know. I just don't like it.
I know it was the 70s, but I just feel like there's still no excuse for that it's not even themed, or there's like nothing to look at. I understand before it was there wasn't a ceiling there and you could see the trains fly by, but it's just not nice. I don't know.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not like just cinder block warehouse. Don't take it that far. It's not like it's not themed at all. But
I would have expected more from them.
But yeah, it just again, it's been like this forever though already. Now it's like you just can't wait in the actual corridor that was meant for waiting.
Yeah.
Like they just make it so you walk through there pretty much, and then you wait in that area. I guess they want to be able to control the crowd better.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I don't like it. I still always think of Ghost Rider.
Oh, that might be the worst one.
I think that's the worst offender. Yeah.
Oh, that is always horrible. Isn't
there like two parts of it? That's like two elements of the switchbacks. Like two areas of it, I think.
There might be. It's huge, and that ride always has a line too. At least every time we've been there, and so
a lot of times it only runs one train. I think wasn't it only one train last time we were there?
It may have been.
Yeah, which is also inexcusable.
Yes.
That's another show though. Operations.
Yeah.
So yeah, shouldn't use your station to double as your queue house.
Okay, so now what about the gates? Air gates or those electromagnetic gates?
Oh no, it's got to be the air gates.
Okay. Is Dorney the only one that does the electromagnetic thing?
Or just mechanical in some way, but usually it's air powered, which is fine. Yeah, Dorney Park. Every coaster there has those magnetic gates.
Right, where you have to push on it yourself.
Yes.
And so every ride cycle, the ride operator has to say, push on the gate.
Push on the gates now. Push on the gates.
Right.
And oftentimes the ride operator that's on the gate side of the train for the lap bar checks, has to pull them open for a bunch of people.
Right.
They have to like walk the line and see anyone who's having trouble and pull. And
close them too if they don't close.
And then so I don't know what the deal with Dorney Park and those gates are, but that park alone is enough for me to see that's not a good idea.
Right. I feel like I saw that one other place. I can't remember where though.
Most everyone else has the air gates, though. Or I mean, there's still a few rides with no gates.
That was what I was going to bring
weird.
up. Knoebels, right?
Knoebels,
At
Phoenix.
least Phoenix and Twister.
I think they installed them.
Did they?
I think they installed gates a couple years ago.
I was saying, this had to have been very recent.
Very recently, yeah. Maybe
I haven't seen
2018,
this yet.
I think.
Okay.
We were there, and I saw gates there, and I was shocked. But Twister, no. Twister still doesn't have gates.
Okay.
So I don't know how to explain that, but...
Yeah.
And I don't think the Flying Turns has gates.
Impulse has to have a gate.
Impulse had a gate, yes.
Okay.
Impulse has gates.
Oh, Black
So-
Diamond has a gate, doesn't it? Or no?
No.
No gate.
No, Black Diamond is just like...
Oh, you just
get in, like, from the... Yeah, that's...
Oh, there's that too. There's just
old-fashioned style with no aisles,
Yeah.
for each row kind of thing.
that. Yeah, that's a whole thing too.
Yeah, that's like the old-fashioned wood coaster station, Thunderbolt at New England. Although, actually, no, they do have aisles, like,
No, they
individual.
do,
But
yeah.
they just don't load them. They hold you at...
that's right.
And then they load you, like, when the train's in the station already, and you just jump in.
yeah,
I don't know why that is. That's just a weird New England thing for that one ride.
Yeah, but not having a separate little aisle for each row, I really don't like that when that's not there. Like, and one of the first ones that comes to mind is it Yankee Cannonball at Canopy?
Yeah, Yankee Cannonball.
That guy, I just hate like you have to like fend for yourself. Like you can't choose your own seat really. It's just whatever's left. If you're not like in the front of that loading group, then it's like you're gonna get screwed with the seat selection.
Well, yeah, it's just like that's the classic style. That's like the Cyclone. Coney Island Cyclone is like that. You know, that's just how it was in the 20s. They all were kind of like that. When you kind of entered the station through either the front or the back, like, but the long way, and then you just kind of walked alongside the coaster train and boarded right there. And it's I think a lot of those, it's hard to even retrofit into the more modern style, so they never bothered.
Yeah, it's just too narrow of a space.
Yeah. So at least Jackrabbit at Kennywood's like that. But it's also a very old ride. I think it's 1919 or something, that ride. And I'm also thinking Rye Playland, the Dragon Coaster,
Okay.
is also like that. It's just these really old rides that are like that.
Is the Big Dipper Santa Cruz, was that like that?
Yes, I believe that was like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe rides with the train, the vehicle you're going to board is just one car long. You know, I'm thinking maybe like because Dark Knight you don't really wait for a row exactly, right?
Oh no, that's right. You
Kind
don't
of just hop in.
Yeah, but like on a mouse, it doesn't matter. Actually,
That's what I'm saying,
Well,
like-
does any no mouse has like aisles.
Right, so
that you
something with
wait.
just like a single car.
Okay, well,
Like I guess
it doesn't
But
matter.
in that case, right? In that case, it doesn't really matter. Something like Rapids doesn't have aisles either because the ride vehicle doesn't.
Well, you really can't,
Right,
yeah.
it doesn't lend itself to something like that.
Well, Rapids have the two distinct styles, which we've covered in our Rapids episode.
Right.
Two, where it can be a stop and go station or a turntable. So that changes everything. Mm-hmm. Once you bring a turntable into it.
So it's like Shoot the Chutes is like the one water ride that'll have the different lanes for the rows.
Like with air gates. Yeah,
but a lot
right.
of Flumes and Rapids do not.
It's not really conducive to those generally.
Oh, that's not
Although
true.
the Florida ones do.
Yeah, I say Splash Mountain and Deli Do-Ride have them.
Yeah, so they did it. Just Disney and Universal. But I don't know of any Arrow flumes that have that.
Usually
Right?
you just wait and they put you
Yeah,
on.
there's no gate. But they kind of just, that's like Knoebels. I mean, you're just kind of standing right there. They let you just stand there, and technically you could just jump in the trough if you wanted to. Like, it's just right there, open, but they let you stand there and wait. There's like, I think there's like boxes painted on the ground, right?
Okay.
And they like tell you to wait in the box.
Daredevil Falls at Dollywood? Is that what it's called?
That sounds right.
Their flume, I don't know, flume / Shoot the Chutes, however you want to
Yeah, that's a
classify
weird
it.
one.
It's like Splash Mountain, Florida, where it's like two across. It's like a little bigger than a flume, but
Yeah.
not. I don't know if it's quite big enough to call it a Shoot the
I
Chutes.
think it's a flume. I still
somewhere
think
in
of
the
it as a
middle.
flume.
I think it's more flume than Shoot the Chutes. Yeah,
Modern flume.
and that's a little bit of a weird system where because it's on a conveyor belt in
Yeah.
the station. and you just kind of have to hop on while it's going.
Well, yeah, the non-stop station. That's again, that only really works with individual cars. That's like a log
Pretty
flume.
much.
Yeah, that flume, Adventureland, Long Island, their flume is like that.
Oh, okay.
And the logs don't stop. Jump into the boats.
Yeah, conveyor belt in the station is an interesting idea.
And then some wild mice have that.
Some wild mice.
I've seen that. Hershey does that.
Really?
Hershey just keeps moving.
And
And Dark Knight is like that. Great Adventure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was thinking of Cobra's Curse.
Oh, yeah, that's like
Doesn't
that.
stop. But then the one with an actual train, Hagrid, doesn't stop.
Ah, hired. Well, I actually Rocket.
Oh, that's
They
right.
did it first with Rip Ride Rocket.
That's another one, yeah.
And I guess it worked. It does work, actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
it
confirm
does.
it works. It works really well. And so then they did the same thing with Hagrid.
So it can be done. It's not like it needs to be one car long.
So actually, yeah, so Universal pushed the envelope with doing a train that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And it works really well, yeah.
Because not even Disney does that. They only, they have Omni movers, but
Yeah, their coaster trains always stop.
I mean, the way they run their rides, though, it doesn't really matter because they're so efficient and good at it.
They're so efficient, and they don't, they dispense with all the theatrics of that phony lap bar check.
Yes.
Doesn't do anything. They just don't bother, and it's just,
Right.
they'll just tell you to pull it down, and it's done.
Yes.
Done. And that speeds things up immensely.
Oh, can I just go back for a quick sec? Just one other thing I wanted to bring up about the air gates.
Roll the wheels back. Okay.
There are a few that have complete floor to ceiling
That
door or
Yeah, I
gate.
know.
Most of them are just like half your body height.
Up about waist height.
Yeah.
Generally, some are really like almost nothing. It's just like a U shape almost, and that's it. Some are more like full gates with the bars, like you think of a classic jail cell,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But some are like some of the older ones are just like metal bent into a U, turned on its side,
Oh, like
or
a P,
like a P,
Okay.
kind of, depending on what side you're
Yes.
on.
Okay.
Some are
Yeah.
like that. I think of like some of the old Arrow mine trains just have those little flimsy gates where it's barely anything. It's more just so you can see it. It's like, all right, I'm not supposed to board right now. But yeah, the big gate, the full jail cell like gate, it never looks very pretty.
No.
But that's just a function. That's a safety thing because it's usually on like the shuttle rides. I know a couple of the boomerangs I've seen that on.
Like the inverted boomerang. Or the regular
Both.
boom. Yeah,
I think
you're right.
Flashback at New England has
Yeah,
like that.
you're right. You're right.
And then I'm thinking, in Vertigo, a couple of those models had that. Mm-hmm. I think maybe Stinger, when it was at Dorney Park, had that, and the one at Kings Island too.
Yeah, face off.
I think, right? I think it also has those full gates like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's just to make like double sure that no one even puts their hand out because you have a ride that's going to become screaming by.
Yeah, you know, it's another one with the full door is Superman Escape from Krypton or whatever it's called now at Magic Mountain.
Krypton Coaster. Well, that goes into, we forgot about that, into the idea of the fully enclosed station.
Yeah, and it goes outside.
Well, that's a full, like a theme door, like where you can't even see.
Right.
We actually love that.
It's a full metal door.
How it's just the build up to the ride and how you can't see anything, and then the door just opens, and then it's just there. It is this really massive ride car.
Right, where you just hear the sound of it, and
Yeah.
it sounds crazy.
Yeah, that is really awesome, the way they set that up. That's almost a whole other kind of thing, though. It's like, not the whole station's enclosed, but the whole part of the station that you wait in is enclosed, and then you open up to like an open air garage style thing that you actually board the train in. I mean, maybe that's the only example of that, actually. But that's really something else. It really works well, though, on that one unique ride. I mean, the other thing I'm thinking of right now is Doctor Doom. Not a coaster, but same idea where you're totally enclosed and maybe you just hear a little noise and some screams or whatever, and then the door just opens in front of you and it's just this kind of dramatic reveal. And here it is. Here's the contraption of your doom. It's like you're about to get into this and get the fear sucked out of your face or whatever it is. And it's just really cool when they do that. And those are two very different examples. I mean, two different type of rides, but also it's like Universal and then Six Flags.
Yeah,
which you
yeah.
wouldn't think, but it's cool that there's a couple of those out there at least.
There's also the when the train that you're going to board, when it comes in empty, because it's a separate load unload.
A carriage approaches.
Yeah.
That effect.
Yeah.
The thing that we have no name for, but that, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's the carriage approaches effect.
So that's a whole other thing. The idea of a separate load unload for a station. It's like, and if you can make that work, it's good, but you need to have really good operations.
But most regional parks cannot handle that,
Right.
which is the thing. So most regional parks that do it, it ends up just taking longer.
Yeah.
In the end, it's just pointless.
And it's like, and sort of in the same vein is the dual loading station. It's another thing that like parks just can't handle, and it doesn't speed up anything, and it's a waste.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if that works.
Right.
Actually,
I don't think it works at all.
I don't think that one actually does work. I don't think even if the operations are great, I just don't think it works.
Yeah.
I mean, Thunder Mountain might test that theory.
Oh, the only
it does
one?
work if you do have good operations. Oh, and California Screamin'.
Oh, California Screamin'. Maybe that does work. You really need to have like incredible operations.
It's got to be Disney,
Pretty
right? Even Universal hasn't tried that.
Oh, even Universal hasn't tried that. No, that's not true. Mummy.
Oh,
So they can do it too.
Mummer. All right, so there we go. Shows what we know.
It's got to be those two.
You can do it, but just Disney Universal.
Because even like Manta at SeaWorld Orlando, I mean, at least last time we were there, I think they were still doing dual
Yeah,
loading.
they were still using them.
I don't know how well that worked though.
I don't know. It's just all the extra rigmarole that the regional parks do, all the visual scan and the triple checks of everything. It just doesn't matter at that point. You might as well just stack them for a second and then keep it going. It just doesn't work.
But yeah, like when Six Flags has tried it, they quickly abandon it, like with King Ka or Tatsu.
Oh, how they ever have abandoned that? They abandoned. Yeah. They built it to have four like simultaneously stationed at once, and now they use one.
Yeah,
they've taken it back to one at this point. They
one.
Just gave up.
Not even one side, but just one train.
Yeah, just one half of one side is all they use. So they just run it at, I think it's 3 trains in that configuration, and that. I mean, it works because it doesn't break down almost ever anymore after all these years. But yeah, it's such a sad thing that it's just empty ghosts, 3/4 of the station.
I guess, yeah, and another thing is loading multiple trains, on just a single track, loading multiple trains at once in a station.
Yeah,
where some of them double up.
Again, it's like it only really works as much as how good the operations are.
Yeah, right.
Because otherwise it's worthless.
Like the Cheetah Hunt is like that, and there's a bunch out there.
That weird.
Yeah,
that's just weird. It uses an old monorail station as the station.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
That's
weird.
just kind of bizarre.
Repurpose station. That's the.
Okay, we'll get there. Hold
on. Dark Knight. Well, Dark Knight doesn't stop, so I guess that doesn't really count.
No, it doesn't matter.
What are some others that do 2 at once? Oh, like Dragster. Oh, Maverick.
Stormrunner. Stormrunner does it with the split track.
Oh, don't they have dual loading?
But yeah, dual loading, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. But they also do 2 on each?
No, I guess it's just dual.
The two sides. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're talking specifically same track.
Just single track.
Doesn't Shakra do that? Because isn't there 6?
Yes.
There's 6 bridges that go over.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so they load 2 trains. But then Griffin does not.
No.
Strangely enough.
All right, so
yeah, I mean all those things. I mean it's all fine and good, but separate load unload, dual, or just multi-load on the same track. It's like it's only as good as the operations in the end. So what about theme? How important is theme in the station?
If your ride is themed, I think it's pretty important.
It's like all right, because we did say that we don't want to have to really wait in the station, though. We don't like that.
Right, if we can avoid it. Yeah,
So you do have to kind of maybe. We might have to concede a little bit on that point then. Like, you might have to allow them to... It should carry through the theme in some way, of course. It shouldn't just be... It's a well-themed queue, and even maybe the ride has a story, but then the station is just cinder block walls. And that's it.
Is there any like that, though?
I'm talking to you, Loch Ness Monster.
Oh!
It kind of is. It's a warehouse. The station's a warehouse.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like... a warehouse for fish bait or something. And but the queue is well themed, and there's a lot of junk, a lot of like hunting for Loch Ness junk, hunting for mythical beasts kind of junk, and a whole camp. There's a whole camp set up and everything, and a tank where they're gonna put the beast after they catch it. It's well thought out. And then even from the exterior, it looks kind of cool. It's like a castle.
Yeah, they even themed the outside of the station, but not the inside.
And then the ride itself has a story and even has a themed cave on the ride.
Yeah.
But yet, the actual inside of the station is just a warehouse. It's just cinder block walls.
Yeah, that's weird.
They didn't carry even the castle stone on the inside, at least that much. It was, and it's just like the exposed like metal girders on top. And then for years, they at least had the flags, the Loch Ness, the green, was it green, orange, and yellow flags at the top. And then those disappeared a bunch of years ago, like 10 years ago now. And they're putting them back up or bought new ones. So it's even more bare bones than ever lately. I don't know. That one kind of kills me.
Yeah, you're right.
It's such a perfect ride otherwise. And then that interior of that station, though, so disappointing.
No, the one time they went for it was Alpengeist.
Alpengeist went full on.
Yeah, they did a very good job with it.
It's a full like ski shack.
Yeah, they actually did a good job.
Skis and junk everywhere. It's almost Joe Rohde.
Well,
Joe Rohde light.
Yeah. Well, for Bolton, they carried through also.
For Bolton, they actually added stuff into the Old Wolf Station.
I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah, Apollo's Chariot they didn't, too. That's kind of, and Drunkenfire didn't.
Right. Those are the ones I was thinking.
A few
in
between ones, the '90s ones, really. That Wolf was '80s though too. Yeah, those middle period ones. They didn't go too far at the station.
But I mean, something.
Okay, yeah, but Alpengeist fell in the middle there, so that's kind of is odd.
Yeah.
And then Apollo's Chariot, they kind of let just be. It's just flags. All right, so but again, all right. So I started with that. If you don't want to wait too much in the station, like I understand you don't want to bother putting too much budget in there. Like it doesn't need to be like insanely themed per se, but it should still carry through with something from the queue, or it shouldn't totally take you out of it, like Loch Ness. I don't think it should be this weird middle ground where like you have your queue experience and then just remember you're at a theme park and just get on the ride for goodness sakes, and then the theme will resume once the ride starts. Like it shouldn't be that either. No, that's too extreme. It needs to be some kind of middle ground there, I think. But I don't know that I need every station to be like ridiculous either.
No,
I appreciate when they do it. I mean, mostly it's just going to be Disney and Universal anyway. But again, even them, like I think when they go all the way with it, then they do make sure to have a part where you wait in it. Maybe because they want to show it off. Like Dueling Dragons was like that. That did have switchbacks right before the trains.
Oh, yeah.
But it did look amazing. So it was kind of like if they're going to put all this effort into the station, they wanted to show it off.
You know what's kind of funny though? Like with Hagrid, the actual station part of that ride, like where you actually board the train, is very minimal.
Yeah, so that's a good example of like they knew you weren't going to wait in it, so
yeah, they put almost nothing there.
It's just enough. It doesn't break the theme. It's not Bare Bones Warehouse at that point.
Right.
But it's just the minimal whatever stucco they put on the wall to look like, the castle bricks or whatever, and that's it. Right, they didn't put a bunch of additional Harry Potter movie junk right at the very end. They didn't bother.
Right.
But actually Everest is like that too. For all the Joe Rohde style junk all over the queue, because you're not going to wait in the station. Like, the station is open air, actually, to the back. It does have a roof over you. But it's also just, at that point, it's the train pulling in is the theme itself, I guess.
And it does a little steam
with
thing
the little
out
steam,
the back.
But there's nothing else to look at otherwise. There's nothing grabbing your attention on the actual station.
Yeah, you're right.
So I feel like, yeah, but that's perfect. That's what I'm talking about. That's like the perfect line. Unless you do want people to wait in the station.
You know what's a kind of a funny one, at least for me, is Dinosaur, because that station, that's dual loading, by the way.
It is.
That and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, both of those.
But the Dinosaur station, it feels like I'm waiting in a Cinderblock warehouse, even though I know it's kind of part of the theming. It feels like the theme kind of stops for a second. Well, it feels like it stops when you step into that pre-show room, where there's just like nothing in there. It's just a carpeted floor, and that's it.
And then the screen in the distance. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is like a technology warehouse of some sort, or a facility. That's the theme.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess
it really is themed, but it kind of doesn't feel like it.
There's some colorful pipes.
Yeah, sure.
And some like lights in the floor.
Okay.
Below like this metal grates, I think. Yeah. But Indiana Jones is much better though. But then that might be an example, actually, where they went too far. They probably spent way more money than they needed to in that actual station, considering that there's not a final switchback pad. Like, you're not really waiting in the station.
They really made it like absolute, and you're not in there for very long.
Yeah, it doesn't really need to be, though.
Yeah. It's so cool, though.
So it is awesome. I'm glad someone did it, at least that once. But that's a good example of where, like, they didn't need to spend all that extra money, in that section of the budget, making that ceiling just insane like they did.
I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but it's kind of funny how with Pirates Disneyland, and we've talked about this, I'm sure,
how odd it is.
Where it's like the theming in the station all of a sudden is completely different from the theming of the queue.
Oh yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's just weird. How there's like zero transition. It's a hard cutoff. It's a hard transition.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often, does it?
No, I don't think so.
That's a weird thing. That's because it was a weird, like, that ride was put in later, and yeah.
They hadn't quite figured everything out yet.
Yeah, it was the early days of theme parks.
Yeah.
At that point.
But what do you think I was going to say? It's like the fake outside-inside.
No, I thought you were going to talk actually about the station theme actually doesn't really go with the ride.
Oh. Well,
actually, take one step further, because like you're saying how the first section of queue doesn't match with the station, and then the station doesn't necessarily match with the ride.
Yeah, station doesn't match with the ride.
It's meant to be this, and I after all these years, of course, reading about it, I understand it's meant to be this like fantasy, and like you start in like a modern New Orleans swamp, but then like you get transported back in time through the drop, I guess through the two drops, into like this world where pirates were thriving and doing all their pirating stuff, their debauchery, their raping and pillaging. And then you kind of take that lift up the reverse waterfall, like out of it again, out of the dream almost. So it's like, I mean, I do understand that. It's kind of cool, actually. But it is a little jarring just the same.
Yeah.
And odd that even when you're boarding that particular Pirates, even that part doesn't add up with what you're about to see.
Right.
You're in some kind of New Orleans restaurant.
Yeah.
On a dock. And then it's just this wacky pirate ride later on.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I didn't actually think about quite how bad that is.
So yeah, that's just really weird.
Okay.
That's like a lone though. That's just a singular example.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Because even the second time they did Pirates, it made more sense.
With Haunted Mansion, the Orlando one is like, that's bare bones.
Oh.
Where you actually load onto the ride car. In Land, they put a little fake staircase, a little something, but for World, they just didn't bother. Yeah. It's just a hallway with some wallpaper, and that's it.
Yeah, that works though.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's all you need.
But that's very minimal. I remember Mystery Mine Station at Dollywood, it was themed pretty well. That has switchback in there right before you get on, which I always forget about. I just remembered it now, and that's really annoying.
It does, yes.
But that's also a weird case where it's open air station, right? Or is it just the back?
It's almost not. It's just a very little bit.
Okay.
Where you like enter into it.
And then you start inside, like a very brief dark ride portion, and then you go outside, you go back inside and outside, you go all over the place.
Yeah, you're ducking in and out a lot on that one. Speaking of mines, now I'm thinking of Seven Dwarfs Mine. That's also, you board totally enclosed.
Oh yeah, right.
And there's a pretty big section of weight still. I mean, it's hard to, that one's kind of hard to figure where this queue ends and the station begins, though. It's just kind of all blends together there.
Well, you're talking about theming. I really like, or I don't know how good they look now, but the Flight of Fears, I always thought those were pretty great stations.
Oh yeah, enclosed rides with enclosed stations. Yeah, that's pretty great.
Where, I love how the train comes in empty. It's very ominous.
Well, that's like one of the best uses of that.
The setup and build up is great.
It's more than just trying to speed up operations, I think. It's actually, it adds something to the experience. Yeah, it wouldn't be the same if the train pulled in with people in it. Yeah, it adds something to it. It really plays to the theme. And actually, I will say that those two rides, for whatever reason, I think maybe the separate load unload works. I don't know why, but in that format, it works.
And yeah, and they even have it's not just theming to look at, but like I don't know if they still do this anymore. But when the train launches, the lights are supposed to dim a little bit.
Oh yeah,
another layer there.
Right, all the power it takes to do that.
Yeah.
Which in actuality, it does take a shitload ton of power to launch those trains with the magnets. I want to say no. I don't think they do it anymore.
But yeah, I think really those are, at least as far as coaster stations go, I think those are some of my favorite all time. What about, like, do you consider Tower of Terror, at least the Orlando one, like, is that a station? Like the where you wait for the elevator?
It's like, where's the station on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just that last little area where you wait on the squares on the ground, or the numbers.
If we're counting that as a station, that's one of the best. That's ridiculous.
But it's also the queue at that point.
But it's like
the last part of the queue that just morphs into the station. No, I mean, it's perfect, though. It's exactly what it should be. You're just waiting for an elevator.
Right.
There shouldn't be some other room you go into first. And not even talking about the California version. Just even in that setup, if there was a room you went into right before the elevators to separate you from the line, it wouldn't make as much sense. So I think it's perfect.
That one, I mean, we mentioned Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. That's a really good station.
That's ridiculous. Oh, actually, just the new Kong.
That is really cool.
They went nuts with that one.
Yeah.
And there is no final switchback in the station or anything like that either. So they kind of went further than they needed to.
There's that last little bit. It's not a whole pad, but there is one little bit.
By the time you just wait in the rows by the time you're actually in the station.
You were actually in the station, yeah, right.
But they went like crazy with the ceiling and that whole back wall.
Yeah.
Giant stone statues and everything, and it looks so old and messed up.
Yeah,
that's
really great.
It's really great.
I mean, Gringotts is really good too. Good atmosphere.
Oh yeah, Gringotts went nuts with that one too.
Yeah, all that stalactites from the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah.
Radiator Springs Racers is kind of nice.
That's actually open air.
Yeah,
which is odd.
In a
way. They didn't want to go for total control of the environment, the lighting and everything. But it's impressive though. It's a lot of rock work there.
Yeah,
a lot going on.
Oh, what about Timbers is pretty minimal. It's all right.
Mystic Timbers?
Yeah, Mystic Timbers.
No, there's quite a bit going on there.
In the station?
They had like the posters.
Okay.
With little nods to the past or whatever. It was like Arrow lumber or something like that, or Arrow saw blades.
Okay.
And then there's like things that tie into some of the rides and some of the manufacturers in the park, I think. No, I thought they did a pretty good job with that one. I mean, I kind of see what you're getting at with that one, because it's not different enough from like the average GCI station. It's still like the base of just like their classic wood, all wood, everything's wood GCI station.
Yeah.
And then they did a little bit of theming on top of it. Well, you can look back and see the shed, which like looks cooler from there than on the ride.
Yeah.
It's almost cooler as an idea before you see it. If you just like peer back to the back of the train and see that behind it. Because it's got some cool lighting and it looks kind of cool.
But we said it before. Alpengeist is a very good one, actually.
Alpengeist is actually, that's probably underrated. I don't know that anybody ever thinks about that. That's a very highly themed ride, actually.
It really is. Yeah, the skis on the train.
Yeah, they went so far as to do that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of fake snow along the course.
Yeah, there's stuff on the course, like where the guy crashed through a shed or something, and his skis are still stuck there, I think.
Right. And then, are there like skis and trees, I think, too, and stuff like that?
There might be.
Yeah, they went for it. And then it's either right before or right after the loop, you go through a little shack, and then you go through another little shack, I think, as you duck under the bridge. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple little ski shacks you go through, you smash through, so to speak, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's actually really well done.
So I guess if you can only theme the queue or the station, it's better to theme the station? Is that what we're saying?
I don't think that is what I said before.
No, but I'm asking that now, though.
Because I said, you had to have a highly themed queue, and then the station it still should follow the theme, but it can be the more bare bones part of it.
But if you can only do one or the other,
that's
your only choice.
But again, we said Hagrid is a great example of that. So, but that's Universal.
Yeah.
But now if you're going to take that to a regional park where your budget's even more limited and you're saying, okay, you can only do one or the other. In that case, then, yeah, I think you're better off sprucing the station up and letting the queue hang back a little bit.
Okay.
Because, push come to shove, I guess especially in a regional environment, you can get away with that. You could have just like a speed rail on concrete section of a queue, but then if it ultimately leads into something cool, eventually you're just going to forget about that. And then you'll just get immersed into the experience as you get deeper into it. And eventually ride. So I guess you can get away with that. You know, I mean, if you are Universal or Disney, we're going to have a harder time, letting them get away with that. Because it's like, come on. I'm already dropping a month's salary to be here. Like, I better get a quality experience the whole way through.
But they do that, or they have done that, though.
I know, that's the
look
problem.
at Rocket at
that
Universal Orlando.
the whole setup for that ride is a Six Flags setup.
Yes. But even California Screamin' or Incredible Coaster or whatever, I don't think they really added much when they changed it to Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
But at least with California Screamin', that was bare bones.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate.
So they're not opposed.
They're not
to
perfect with it. Yeah,
and then even whatever it's called, Goofy's Flight School now or something. The Mouse in California Adventure.
Well, those. I mean,
I don't know if they added much theming to that when they did the Goofy
it's
overlay.
like that and Primeval World. They did.
Oh, Primeval World.
Those were just awful late Eisner period editions.
Yeah. Okay.
Just overall. Yeah, there's more than just the station. That's a problem there.
Yes. But anyway, I was trying to think about their.
But yeah, no, yeah. Right. So if you can only do it, I guess give us your biggest impact in the station.
Like the Batmans at Six Flags.
Okay, that's
those
a great
stations
example.
are pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great example. If it still happens where you get a full queue, nowadays, which does I got Great Adventure doesn't happen very often. You will have like a more bare bones speed rail part of the wait. It's the Gotham Park, it's Gotham City Park, so there's a little something to look at here and there, but it's generally pretty bare.
Yeah,
then it ramps up as you get further in and closer to the ride.
Right. I mean, with it varies from installation to installation, but at least with Great Adventures, they took out virtually all the theming in the queue.
But
the station itself, though, is I think in all of them is good.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bat-Citadel on top and Batcave.
But they even have half
cool.
of Batman's suit.
They even have the bat suit.
Or part of it,
but,
anyway.
where's the pants?
Dude, I don't know.
Someone put that idea in my head, but yeah, I just where's the pants?
Never could figure that one out.
Why does he not have pants? Yeah, Dal. Never could figure that one out. Yeah, what's he do? Go out pantsless one night? Or he was drunk and just put the pants on and then started fighting crime?
Oh, maybe.
Must look really silly.
Yeah. But yeah, most Six Flags stations, I guess, are pretty bare.
But okay, Batman's that reminds me of the Chiller from back in the day, and that and I guess now by extension the Freezes still standing. That again, but Chiller I think more real nasty, no coverage, bare bones wait to start. If the line ever got that long and you waited that long, there was a nasty big speed rail section in the front. But then you got into the Flexible Brick Company building. And up some ramps, and then like the actual station actually was very themed.
Yeah,
a lot of colored lights and on the bricks, and just a lot of fake ice.
And Riddler's Revenge was the same way. I mean, we never saw it in its full glory.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, same deal. Where it's just like bare bones queue, and then the station actually has some theming. I mean, like you said, mostly lights, but
Riddler's nightclub.
But some, yeah, right.
Well, I mean, it's a nightclub, but I mean, they really were just trying to invoke like the finale of that movie, Batman Forever, where that's what Riddler's Lair was.
Yeah.
It was a nightclub. But even more bizarre somehow. A nightclub with like giant pits below or something.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was elevated or whatever. I don't know how that even worked. But
I thought
it was an island, but then when they get inside, they're like hundreds of feet up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a Schumacher Batman for you.
Yeah, well. So, all right, so Six Flags...
but yeah, that
themes a little bit for Batman, not for anything else.
So it's like Batman and Superman. They did it.
Not even Superman though. I mean,
well, the one I just said. Then the rest of them.
The Magic Mountain.
The first one that they did, the Escape.
But
and then after that, though, right? Even Superman got the shaft. It was like
it's just the bare bones.
Even he just got
open air station.
Just open air with just some little nicer looking lights from Home Depot or whatever. Yeah, he shops at Home Depot. He likes that kind of stuff. But yeah, nothing special about it. I mean, I kind of do love Magnum, how it's such a homage to just 80s cheese.
Yeah.
And then actually, just to the same extent, how Gemini is like an homage to like 70s cheese.
Yeah.
It's like 70s wannabe modern architecture cheesiness, and then they did the same thing in like a decade later with Magnum.
Yeah, and that one has a weird thing where you like have to take like 2 steps up to get into
Oh
the
yeah,
train.
that's a weird thing.
Very unusual.
On Gemini.
The only other similar thing that I can think of that's like that is Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. You have to step up into the train.
Right.
They like screw that up when they they repurposed that
it's
station.
a retrofit. That's
yeah.
why,
And so, but they didn't. I don't know. I guess they figured it was fine. Yeah, because the actual track is like that's at the level of the floor. It's not below the floor.
Right. It's awkward even just to see it. That's one of those it makes you think like, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
Right. It's something you never really think about until you see it different, and then it's like,
And then it was like, wow, that's bizarre.
yeah. It's like, wait, something doesn't seem right.
That park's just happy when they're open from year to year. Like, we're gonna be able to open this year, guys. All right.
Yeah.
I'm still pulling for him though.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There are some stations that just, to my eye, they just seem like almost like temporary, like the cheapest possible thing the park could have done. A couple that come to mind are Skyrocket at Kennywood. There's like barely anything to that. Even the walls are just like canvas or something. It's not even like actual walls and a ceiling and a roof.
Oh, is it that bad?
I think so. And then also like X-Flight at Six Flags Great America is like very minimal. The least they could possibly do.
Those minimalist themed. Well, that's actually more of a Cedar Fair thing.
Okay.
They like minimalist, where it's just like a round concrete molded like 4 pillars to support the roof.
Yeah.
Or sometimes not even. There's that weird dragster style that they used more than once, where it's like the curved roof over from one side,
Yeah.
and then that's it.
At least that feels permanent to me, though.
But it is it's almost like a statement piece. It's almost like art in a way. I mean, I don't think it's great, but okay. But you're talking just total minimal, like
is it like they feel temporary?
like it feels like it could be a traveling carnival.
Yeah,
or something.
almost like that. The old Hypersonic XLC was a little bit like that.
That almost was temporary after all, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The actual ride.
Where that station just felt like it was like they didn't want to put anything into it.
Yeah,
That was open air. Completely open. Rather, there was
yeah, it was
no roof on that.
And actually, I just mentioned it, but I think Magnum actually there's no roof, which is really bizarre. That's at Cedar Point.
Over the actual train,
I think,
there's not. You're right.
It's like kind of like Big Thunder Mountain at California, where you step out of your coverage to get into the train.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. Those are those odd little decisions that I don't know how that gets made.
Oh, I guess like Zoomerang at Lake Compounds is like that feels like a traveling coaster.
Well, that it's like the station is it's made out of that metal that clanks when you walk on it. It's just it is like a traveling flat ride.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And like that's not good. You don't ever want to have that feeling, about your ride that
well, that must
like it's a traveling ride.
That must have. I mean, obviously those are not made to travel, Vekoma boomerangs, but that must be something that they offered the Vekoma. Like if you didn't have enough money to make your own station, we'll offer this kind of cheaply made metal, just the metal with just those little non-slip notches on them, protrusions, and there's just the stairs, and then the actual station floor is made out of that, and that's it, and cheap rails on the sides. Because that. And then those ones don't have rows to wait in. Like that's like an old-fashioned wood coaster where you gotta just wait, and then it's every man for himself. Once you're let in, they just want the number of people in that to fill the train up.
Right.
And that's like that. But I want to say I've seen more like that.
Well,
I think the Jogga Lake one was like that too, with the cheap metal.
Oh, I think
station.
you're right.
I think the Jogga Lake that then moved to Carowinds that then eventually got scrapped, or is it still there?
No, I think it's still there.
All right, that's still there. Okay. But I think that had that cheap metal station.
The Laser at Dorney Park, that was a traveling ride, so
that's different.
That's why that felt cheap.
Yeah, because it really was.
Yeah, but like Scorpion at Busch Tampa, they built like a real station for that, right?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom.
Oh,
That kind of feels temporary.
Oh, completely.
for Disney. And that's like, I guess that's part of the theme.
But that's
But that goes back to one of our very early episodes where it was like themed too well.
yeah.
The idea that, can something be themed too well? And where it actually just goes to the point of, now this is just lazy. You just tried to save a buck, didn't you, Disney? Because those just feel awful. I think this may or may not be the last thing, but we got to talk about those repurposed stations.
Yeah. So I mean, we mentioned Cheetah Hunt, and that was
Cheetah
repurposed.
Hunt, maybe one of the most unusual because it's two completely different ride types. Went from a suspended monorail to a standard top rail roller coaster.
Yeah.
Not even a suspended coaster, but so totally different. But it works. It's still weird. We've also mentioned Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. How that worked out odd
Yeah.
in the end. Oh, I guess it goes without saying, every Rocky Mountain retro job on any, formerly wooden coaster, they reuse the same station. I guess I shouldn't say obviously, but they do. They use the same station.
Verbolten reuses Big Bad Wolf Station.
Verbolten reuses the Wolf Station. Same station. They spruced it up a little bit, added some junk on the walls, but it essentially is the same. I always think of El Toro.
Ah, yeah.
That's the old Viper station.
Yeah.
The Great Adventure Viper. That classic Togo piece of shit.
Oh, it was really bad.
And that one is pretty minimally changed. Go back and look at pictures. It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
They reconfigured where you enter it and exit it, where you physically walking, enter and exit. It's actually a very cool looking one for Six Flags, especially.
Yeah, it actually is themed up, at least on the outside.
Well, okay, Hagrid, motorbike journey took over Dueling Dragons.
It's like
Station, and it's actually very different now.
it's like they completely reconfigured it, but they kept the structure.
Right.
Vortex, Kings Island. Now nothing. Now no more.
No
but,
more text.
Yes.
Sadly.
But that took over the old bat station.
Yeah. It can be said, I have a bat in my belfry. Yeah, that was the old. It still had the old belfry, and that look, and the fact that it went way up high, up and over because it was meant to go over suspended coaster track.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
The Son of Beast station is still standing, right? Because don't they use that for a haunt?
Oh, that's a haunt.
That's a
repurpose.
Very different repurpose.
Wolfpack. That's the Wolfpack haunt.
Yeah.
I have not done that one, but yeah, that, and then to the same extent, Drakenfire.
Oh yes,
That was repurposed long ago for a haunt,
that's right.
and I've done a haunt in there. It was a very long time ago. So I actually did get to go back into that station at least one time after the ride closed. Oh, Kennywood, Steel Phantom.
Okay.
So Phantom's Revenge. And that actually reused the same station track.
Okay.
That was extreme.
Yeah.
Not only did they repurpose the station, but they used the station and lift track. And first drop, right? It wasn't until the second drop that it transitions to Morgan. But now it's a little, I think they've eventually, it's almost all Morgan now.
I think maybe that one or a couple of pieces in the station are still Arrow, maybe? I don't know. But I think,
almost everything that's exposed to the elements has gotten changed, I think.
So.
I think, the station track is always covered, so maybe that's all right.
Yeah, I suppose. Do we want to move on? I have two other things that
let's
I
go.
think I want to bring up. One of them is, it's only been done a couple of times, that station fly-through that GCI did.
Station fly-throughs. Is it exclusively GCI, though?
I'm not sure. I know it's on Apocalypse, and I know it's on Thunderhead. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember Thunderhead. Was that the first one, I think, that did that?
I think so.
That was a big advertising point there.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many other times they did it, at least in this country. And I don't know if that really does much for me.
No, it's silly. I don't like that.
So, yeah, I can see why they didn't continue to do that.
It's just noise pollution, while you're waiting. It's really loud when it comes in.
Yeah.
And it happens every couple minutes. So it's just annoying. And then for the operators, it has to be really annoying.
Yes.
And then, on ride, you don't really see much.
Well, no, it's just a section of straight track.
It's
that doesn't need to be there.
It's not enough to make it thrilling or add any element, really. It's just, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing else, right? Where, there's an element in the station of some kind.
I mean, not with shuttle coasters that roll through the station once or twice.
Okay.
But outside of that, no, I don't think so. Besides those couple GCI fly-throughs, and yeah, like I do like when shuttle coasters do that. That's cool.
Right. Those don't bother me because it's built in. It's part of the ride design, so I accept it.
And it's kind of cool. It's another little cool thing that those do for you. Mm-hmm. They're weird, unique, quirky little rides, and that's a fun thing that happens.
The only other thing that I wanted to bring up is rides that launch out of the station versus rolling up to a launch section of the track. How do you feel about launch out of the station?
I think it should be you should roll out and launch.
Yeah, that seems more proper. Yeah. If you can do it, if they have the space and the money and all that.
It's weird, and we've mentioned it already for other reasons, but Flight of Fear is one exception to that rule. I think it works the way it is.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't imagine that any other way. Mm-hmm. So, but that's like my one exception. I'll give it to that one. It's just the way that works. It rolls like, and one launches, right, and then just like a couple seconds later, another one comes in. You could think it's the same one almost. It's like an effect that now it's empty. The people where they go.
Yeah.
It's like time skipped or something. Now it comes in empty, and then you board. It's ominous, and then you get your own launch like right from the station, and you watch the people launch before you, and so it's just awesome. The whole setup.
Yeah.
It's like the functionality of the ride becomes part of the theme. Mm-hmm. And I just love that. So that one really works for me. I guess you also have to kind of extend that to Rock and Roller Coaster. That does roll out though. But the way it comes back empty is neat. Although it doesn't matter so much there because it's just a car. Right. It's a phony limo. So if it did come back with people, it'd be fine too. It's not necessary for the theme, but that works. But that's just Disney operations for you.
Yeah, I don't think there are too many like full circuit coasters that launch out of the station. Okay. And I'm not counting like the Skyrocket 2s, like the Tempesto, Tigris, etc. Technically they're full circuit, but I don't really count them like. It's
still a gimmick.
Yeah,
flat ride as a coaster kind of thing.
Right.
Coaster as flat ride.
Because, which other ones launch out of the station?
So, launch out of the station. Well, you're talking...
Does Accelerator do that?
Your early premieres, mostly.
Oh.
So, like, the Chiller did, and...
Well, I
the
guess,
Freezes do.
I was saying, like, full circuit ones.
Oh, okay. So, now, full circuit.
And you have the Flight of Fears.
Well, you're right. There's no reason for a shuttle coaster to not launch out of the station. If it can. There's the old Vekomas that had to be pulled up lift, but if they had some kind of launch system, then it makes sense. It's just wasting time to pull it back or roll it out forward and then launch it. That would be silly.
Yeah.
So, okay, so full circuit. All right, then we're thinking like the Intamins. The Intamin rocket coasters all roll out. Accelerator, proof of concept, and then the two biggies.
Accelerator does roll out. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it does. Right. Pretty sure. Oh, no. Now you're making me second guess myself.
It launches out of the station.
Ah! There's your first 2020 outtake.
I mean, what other ones are there?
Oh, so really the proof of concept rocket coaster went out of the station.
Oh, the Italian Jobsters.
Oh, yeah. Jobsters. The Jobsters, yeah.
They launch out of the station.
What are they called? Stunt coasters?
Tiny things. Yeah, whatever the hell they're called.
Those are station launches. Yeah. Those are forgettable. Wow. Those are actually open. There's no roof, I think.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that is open.
There you go.
There's more open ones than I realized.
They cheaped out on those. And those kind of feel temporary. Those almost, if a roller coaster of even that size could somehow feel temporary, those do.
Those never came together, really.
No, not at all. Well, there's the other, Flight of Fears. There's like Poltergeist and Joker's Jinx.
Okay, so they launch out of the station as well, right?
Yeah.
It's a premiere thing that they launch.
It's a premiere? Yes.
They launch out of the station. They like to do that.
It is mostly a premiere thing. Yeah, Intamin does not do that. So have you gotten one Intamin yet?
Just accelerator.
Like the one that we keep forgetting, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about stations? Any favorites?
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Favorites. Maybe I'll stumble on a favorite, but I'm just thinking. I just have a couple of things, just odd ones in my mind. I'm thinking about a really odd one is Jaguar in Knott's Berry Farm. This could be another whole thing. It's like the station doesn't quite. It's like too good for the ride. I guess the ride doesn't live up to the station, I should say.
Okay.
Put it that way. It's just a silly zero little like kids coaster. Like it's kind of really cool. Like they built the whole Mayan temple.
Yeah.
And even the inside is themed. It's like kind of cool. It doesn't even feel like a queue. It's like one giant station that you just like kind of walk into and navigate through. Didn't like one of the Legolands, like the Dragon Coaster, have a really elaborate looking station?
Yes.
It just came to mind.
Not like elaborate, but it was like very nice woodwork, and they actually themed it. It was part castle, but part like wood, and yeah, that was nice. It's like better than the actual ride. That's another one where the theming is like better. Better than the ride itself.
The ride doesn't live up to that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, yeah.
You know what is actually I think one of the best stations ever is the London side of the Hogwarts Express, where they recreated that King's Cross station.
Oh yeah, that is
unbelievably impressive. And
that is great.
Crazy that they built it like. I mean, I guess it's not like really full scale exactly, but it's like close enough.
It fools me every time. Yeah, it's really great.
I always forget how massive it is, and just that actually, that ride isn't really anything. It really is transportation. Like I think you said this first and foremost.
Sure.
And then a ride, like it kind of happens to be a little ride thing too. But man, they really went all out with that. At least that side of it. The other side is still all right, but nothing like the London side.
The other side feels like a theme park.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas the London side, it does feel like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but just every time it like actually gets me like pumped. Like
it's cool when you board on that side and you enter into that and you get to wait in it a little bit. There is some switchbacks in there though.
Yeah.
But it's also cool when you exit on that side, I think, because it is also again so impressive and it feels like you really are getting off the plane at the airport or something, or a grand train ride of some sort. Like it just feels really awesome. That's a good mention. I do like that one. Men in Black is kind of cool.
The station? There's like nothing there.
It's bare, but that's what it is though. Isn't that what it looked like in the movies? It's just like the black, the glossy black floor and like white walls. I thought it captured the movie sets like really well. Like it's just what it should be.
Okay, all right. I'll give it to you. All right.
It's just kind of big and open, and it just kind of works. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's they got lucky. They didn't have to do much to make it work, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. I mean, Space Mountain Disneyland does have a great station.
Yeah.
The ride isn't as good. It's not the better Space Mountain ride, but the station's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster at Studios.
The station
that's pretty
is
great.
good.
It's a pretty great station.
Yeah, that is a pretty great station.
It's a parking garage now. You got that right, finally.
Parking garage, yeah.
That just happened this
year.
Took
me how many years to realize?
It took like 20 years to figure out that it's a parking garage.
Well, I knew it was like an alleyway, but then I didn't realize we actually walk into a parking garage.
But I don't know. I mean, I think Jones might still take it overall for me. 100% coverage across the ceiling, but ridiculously detailed coverage. And I think that's the one where even all the lighting makes sense. Like there's like a fake wire that that would be the cable that the lights are strung off of, and it's all there.
Yeah.
Like it is absolute.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think it might be the best station theme job ever. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, Gringotts sort of approaches that a bit. It is totally absolute.
Yeah.
But it's simpler than Jones. I don't know. I feel like we're forgetting a great one out there, but
probably.
Write us. Let us know. Let us know what we forgot. All right, so the station. There's a lot of layers there. In some ways, it's actually more important than the queue because it really sets the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Even if your queue is totally bare bones and outside and nothing going on, the station is the last thing you'll see before the ride proper begins. So it is important. Also because there could be days, or if you have some kind of a fast pass or whatever system the regional parks have, you might circumvent a lot of the queue. but you're always going to see the station.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you can't get on the ride without seeing the station. All right, so I guess that wraps up our talk about stations.
Okay.
All right, thanks for riding. Now get in that station and get out of here.